Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's me Anna again. Today's video is kind of special because this is something that has been stuck with me for quite a while, and I've wanted to talk about this for a long time, but I did not have the words to or the balls to. But today finally I thought that we should just get with it. In today's day and age, I think a lot of people talk about, there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of content out there about self-love, self-care, this growth and everything, and it's like a trending topic now, which I think personally is really good, and I think this should always be a trend to love yourself and care for yourself, and it's really great out there that people are actually somewhat encouraging this behavior in general, and are actually romanticizing this thought of bettering yourself and finding ways to do that. And one thing, this is my personal opinion on this, one thing that I have seen a lot is that people usually get into this phase, this sort of a villain era, where they're no one, they make these glue up videos and all on Instagram and everywhere, where no one loved me when I was at my weakest, but now I am the girl he couldn't have, the girl he didn't want versus the girl he can't have, the one that no one loved versus the one everyone loves, and stuff like that. There's usually these glow up videos where you go from looking a certain stereotypically ugly way, and then you go to a more prettier version of it, or you go to a more jacked or something version of it where you're doing better, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. It's you just have this glow on your face, and people usually compare these two, and they talk about how no one loved me when I was this way, and now everyone's asking for my attention and everything. And I think as much as it might be true, but there's a very big concept to it as well that people don't usually talk about. When we talk about self-love, we usually talk about the concept that you have to love yourself first in order to be able to love others, and in order for others to be able to love you, right? And I think that is something which is so ironic to me. This is something I think everyone should question themselves on. Did you love yourself when you were at that point? We don't want to give a shit about the others for now. Did you love yourself when you were starving? Did you love yourself when you were in that physical shape? Did you love yourself when you were in that state? And the answer 99% of the times is no. Right? And when you are in that place where everyone thinks you're a certain way because you think of yourself, that self-perception is already so low, and then you further give in to that. It is after you physically turn yourself, or emotionally, mentally turn yourself, you start doing financially better, you start hitting those physical goals, those physical checklists, you start feeling better about yourself, and then everyone around you also sees that. But here's the thing, this is such a controversial topic, to be honest, to be talking about, because there's so much to talk about when it comes to glow up. People talking about physical glow ups, mental glow ups, and the difference between the two. People usually talking about you don't have to physically change anything about yourself to fit in a certain standard in the society, which is very true, to be honest. You don't have to look skinny or thick, or have your hair a certain way, or have your body a certain way, or have your features a certain way to be called pretty or to be considered pretty by yourself, right? You don't have to fit into these standards. But again, if your mind is put in that place where you can't even conceive yourself or can't even perceive yourself as pretty when you're not fitting those standards, then no one else will. This is honestly, it's sort of a victim mindset for me personally. When people talk about no one loved me when I was at my weakest, did you even love yourself? Have you ever thought about that? No one loved you, and you didn't love yourself either. Hold yourself just as responsible. But I think your personal image of yourself is what really matters. Right now we talk about confidence, we talk about compliments, people giving you compliments, people shaming you, whatever. It should not really mess with your personal image of yourself. If you think of yourself a certain way, no compliment can bring that up, and no shame can bring that down. Your personal image, you spend the most time with yourself, you know yourself better than anyone. So I don't think if any third person, whether they're your parents, your friends, your significant other, or anyone, gives you a compliment or shames you, that should be able to really just mess with your own image of yourself. I know we all just come from a place where it's it's not that natural for us to feel that confident or feel that poised within ourselves. But I think this victim mindset of blaming people on not liking you for you being that certain way, you didn't even like yourself. This is something, I think, a thought that needs to be stressed on enough. People need to sit with it and really just realize what we're talking about here. because I think blaming other people or victimizing yourself in that certain way will not really change what happened, and it's only like, putting you more in that negative vibrational state where you just don't really see yourself as someone who is worthy. And no judgment here. I personally believe it is okay to want to change your appearance in a specific way to feel pretty. Like, it is okay. There's no need to feel guilty about that, because as a society, we're still developing. We haven't reached that point here where, it's like we just consider ourselves pretty no matter what. There are still some standards, and it is like we have to strive for that change. We have to get at that point where like these these big noses are not something that is considered as not pretty. Like, I personally, like, I don't really like the shape of my nose, my side profile, everything. Like, I don't really like that. And again, but day after day I try to like see myself in the mirror. Like, usually people try to avoid everything they don't like about their body. Like, they don't even see it, or they don't even like look at it because it makes them feel a little embarrassed. And I personally feel we have to take it step by step. You won't just wake up any day and just be like, oh my god, I am so comfortable in my skin, I love everything about myself. It is okay to not be able to do that just yet, but you have to like start. Like, self-love starts with self-acceptance. You can't just go from specifically hating yourself one day to loving yourself the next. You have to get to a middle ground. You have to get that middle point first, where your feelings towards yourself are neutral. Once you get towards that, that's when you can work your way up towards the positivity. For example, like I said, I don't like my side profile so much. I don't like my hip dips. I try to hide them, but now again, every day I try to see that in the mirror. I see that and I sit with that for a little while till that sort of starts to become normal to me. Like, it doesn't feel so ugly now. And every day I am working more and more to get to that point where it feels natural, it feels pretty. It is okay to take your time to really get there. I mean, a lot of people like feel, because of this concept of self-love, a lot of people feel guilty about not liking themselves, and it is okay. But again, to hold yourself accountable is great, but to blame yourself for everything, like, that is not good. Like, to trash yourself at everything possible. Like, there's usually two extremists in this situation, like when it comes to the physical glow up, and this is so controversial. I'm gonna turn my comments off in this video because I don't want people like coming at me in case this gets more than 100 views. But it's either people who are like too like too much work, too much physical work, like going to the gym every day, having a very strict diet, and shading on people who don't do that, or shading on people who live a certain lifestyle. Or it is people who live that certain lifestyle who are always very sensitive to any comment regarding body image or anything like that. And again, please don't categorize yourself in these two if you don't fit in them. These are like two specific categories which are like really extreme, and there's a lot of categories in between as well. But these are like the two types of people who usually are in that fight or in that constant war. And it's like the people in the middle have to somewhat pick sides. Like, either you're the kind of person who will hit the gym, who will always be in those comment sections of people who are like above a certain weight and be shading on them and be like, oh my god, why are you even wearing this, it doesn't suit your body, go to the gym, lose 5 pounds or lose 50 pounds or whatever. Or it's like the people who are usually facing that and are really sensitive, or even if they're not facing that, they have that image about themselves. The bad part here is that the people who are working every day, they will be fitting that certain standard and still be pissed at people who don't. Like, why can't you just mind your own business? It is so obvious that you are doing a certain thing, and I'm happy for you for doing that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are. But again, if someone is posting themselves in a certain dress, in a certain way, and for you they are not that pretty, keep that to yourself. Like, why would you even, how insecure do you really have to be that someone else's post on their account with their clothes, with their money, is pissing you off just to see it? If you can't say something nice, don't say anything. Just move on. You don't have to like it. You don't have to comment. You don't have to follow. Just move on. Scroll past it. It's as simple. And when it comes to people who are like really sensitive about these comments, I really get it. I really do. I am personally like, I'm not in that place to comment on that so much. But again, I personally believe, like I said earlier, others, like, if you really are like, okay, being this certain like being any shape, any size is okay, then you have to be okay with it no matter what people are saying. Like, that's the hard truth. At the end of the day, someone or the other is gonna get up, they are gonna bring you down, because you bring out their insecurities. It is not even about you, it's about them. You bring out their insecurities. But I again believe at the end of the day, it is just like, you have to be the one who like ignores their comments, and your self-confidence, like, it should be at one point where no one can bring it down. Like I said, like, your self-perception, your self-image should be so strong that no one can bring it up or down for you. And because people are going to do that, no matter what you say, people are going to do that. Like I said, this society is still evolving. It is not at that place now where you can just ignore, like, you can just like be at that place where no one says anything bad about you, because bottom line is they always will. So I personally believe, like, if you feel confident about your body in a certain way, even if you don't, it is totally okay. I personally believe it's okay. I am someone who struggles a lot with like body image and stuff, so I personally believe it is okay to want to change it. And if you don't want to change it, that is even more okay. But again, you have to be at that place where other people commenting on it will not bring your image down, because then you are not confident within yourself. If you are confident, no one can change that, only you. Like, people can comment, but if like their comments are irrelevant, they are not valid, that will never bring your image down. It is that simple. Thank you so much for watching this video. On my channel, I usually post tarot readings, like a little bit of self-help and stuff is also there. I try to post this stuff. If it does well, I will post more of it. So let me know if you like it by liking the video and sharing your thoughts down in the comments in case they are on. Also, subscribe to the channel for more such content and tarot readings and a lot of like self-love journey. Bye bye and take care.